Hello again, grade 5. This is Mr. Jeremy reviewing more science vocabulary, some from grade 5 and previous grades, including grade 3 and grade 4. So this is just a suggestion on how to study the vocabulary words. You don't have to do this. If you do it, I suggest maybe do it for words that you have difficulty with. So words that you tend to forget or are challenging, maybe this is a way to study them a little bit more intensely. So first we will review the water cycle. So evaporation, do you remember what evaporation means? Condensation. And precipitation. Water cycle. So I see the sun, I see a cloud, I see wind, I see the sea or the ocean. So all of those things are part of the water cycle too. So remember during one of our online lessons, we did a model of the water cycle to help us understand the process, and we drew or created a water cycle diagram. Okay, so here you see the arrows. The first arrow means adds enough heat. So when water, as you've learned in the states of matter unit, when you add enough heat to liquid water, so that could be water in a lake or water from the ocean, that liquid water becomes water vapor, and water vapor is a gas. So you see what a gas looks like. Notice the particles, the blue dots representing particles, are spread out. So that's water vapor. So water vapor rises, the red word rises, it goes up, and when it loses enough heat, okay, it rises, and when it loses enough heat, it cools down and becomes a liquid again. So we see in the sky, there's cold air, so a cloud a cloud is formed when condensation happens, right? And we should see the word condensation next to liquid. When the water droplets from the cloud get heavy enough, gravity pulls them down and they fall as precipitation. So one kind of precipitation is rain, and the rain goes back to the lake or the ocean, and then when it gets hot enough, it turns back to a gas. Water vapor forms, water vapor rises, water vapor condenses, it loses enough heat, it cools down, right? In the form of a cloud, the water droplets get heavy enough and gravity is able to pull them down, they fall, and then the water cycle just keeps going and going and going. So this is a picture of the model that we did during our online lesson. So what does the model represent? Okay, so we just looked at the lake, we saw water vapor, we saw clouds, we saw cool air. What do each of the parts of the model represent? So we said the water in the teacup represents the water source, such as a lake, river, or ocean. The water vapor represents the water vapor. So sometimes in the model, you get the actual thing that you're trying to represent. The glass bowl represents the sky. The water droplets on the inside of the bowl that's the condensation, represents the cloud. And so when the water droplets fall from the bowl, that represents rain, which is a kind of precipitation. So what does the ice in the ice tray represent? The cold air. So remember when water vapor um, meets the cold air in the sky, it condenses and becomes a liquid again, and that creates clouds. Clouds are not a gas. Clouds are made of water droplets. Evaporation. What is evaporation? Evaporation happens when water from the ground or water sources heats up enough to become water vapor. So liquid particles heat up and spread out to become gas particles. The gas particles rise or move up into the air. So you see liquid in the picture with the two kids. There's some liquid on the ground there, on the floor there. And then with enough heat from the sun, you get water vapor. That's a gas, and that rises. Next, we have the second part of the water cycle, condensation. So condensation happens when water vapor cools down enough and forms clouds, a mass of water droplets. Gas particles from water vapor lose heat and get closer to become clouds and later rain or precipitation. So condensation in the form of clouds. So gas plus cooled down enough, loses enough heat, equals liquid. Next is precipitation. This happens when water droplets in clouds become heavy enough to fall back to the ground and to water sources like oceans, rivers, and lakes. So the same water that became water vapor becomes liquid water again, and that's what we call precipitation. And rain is only one kind of precipitation. So that means the water falls back down and the ocean collects the water again. So you can look at this list of examples. Do you think it's condensation or evaporation? So washing, drying on a line, is that condensation or evaporation? So your clothes drying, a mirror misting in a bathroom, what do you think that is? Puddles drying up, paint drying, car windows fogging up on a cold day, a hair dryer, water droplets on the inside of a window, a plant's leaves wilting, water droplets on a cold can of fizzy drink. Wilting means like the plants are drying up or dying. This is just an activity we could have done if we had had more time. Just imagine you are a raindrop, that is the character, and you fall into the ground 2 kilometers, falling at speeds of up to 40 miles per hour. Where do you land? What do you see? What happens next? So you're basically writing a story about the journey of a raindrop in the water cycle, if you choose to do that. Next unit we will review is light and shadow. So this is from grade 4. You learned about a beam of light, what that looks like. You learned about the word reflect, that's the green word. Light sources, those are some examples, picture examples of where light comes from, including a bulb. We talked about a bulb in our circuits and electricity unit. Shadow. What is a shadow? Shadows are created when a source of light shines on an object, but the light is blocked and does not pass through. So some objects are transparent. That means that all light passes through, like a window. some are translucent, that means some light passes through, and some are opaque, which means no light passes through. So that's solid objects that are not clear. So notice in the picture you have light shining on the opaque object and you see a shadow. So what's wrong here? Look at the pictures of the people and other objects and look at their shadows. What's wrong with their shadows? So for example, the boy's shadow is wrong because his arms are down and he does not have horns on his head. How does a shadow change in length and direction? So here's a YouTube video that you can see showing you how a shadow changes in length and direction. Just remember, as the sun changes position, what happens to the shadow? So look at the diagram here. Look at the sun change as the earth rotates. It changes how it faces the sun, and so that affects the shadow. But watch the video. How do we measure light or light intensity? What apparatus do we use? We use something called a lux meter, and we tried to use it during our circuits unit in grade 5, but it was broken. But you should know this is the apparatus to measure light intensity. So for example, maybe a family living room measures at 50 lux, and office light, there's more light, could measure between 320 and 500 lux. Effects on the environment. So this is a grade 5 unit. Deforestation, we learned about that. You can watch videos on YouTube to help you remember. Deforestation is the removal of trees by humans. So we have a forest, for example. Humans clear the forest for some reason, and possibly humans plant palm oil trees. So that could be a reason why they clear the forest. So what are other reasons humans use trees from forests? Well, here are a list of things that humans make when they cut down or remove trees. Another environmental effect is something called acid rain. So that's rain that contains dissolved nitric oxides or sulfur dioxide, which are harmful gases. These compounds make rain acidic. So again, you can look at the pictures, look at the effects of acid rain, and also watch the YouTube video. What are the reasons or causes for acid rain? Here's another YouTube video that explains that. And then when you study, you can ask yourself, what are the reasons for acid rain? And then you can say the reasons out loud. Blank causes acid rain, and acid rain is caused by, that's a passive voice sentence. So this is just a scale showing you substances that have a lot of acid. So the higher number is more acid, the lower number is less acid. Pollution, making the environment dirty with waste products. So again, you can watch a video about pollution. And then you can, when you study, you can ask yourself or a partner, what are the causes of air pollution? And then when you respond to that question, make sure you respond in a full sentence when you study. So that's important to do when you study any of these videos. Make sure you're reading out loud and talking in full sentences using all of the science vocabulary. And this is a air quality scale. So we talked about air pollution and how you can go online and check the amount of air pollution or the air quality in Ho Chi Minh City. And this explains the numbers if the air quality is good or unhealthy or even hazardous. That means your health is at risk, 301 to 500. And that is all for this presentation. I hope this helps.